Welcome back, and we are on the fourth model of the seven model um, life progress chart to master the self-control system. And this model, of course, is the reason all this got started. This is where it all got started, and it was interesting that when I came up with the model. At first, it was just a master self-control model that was part of the master self-control system. And then I felt that God was speaking to me more. It says there's a lot more, and He kept giving it to me, and this stuff just started pouring out of me, which you'll get to see here shortly. So, within the master self-control model, what we realize is that you cannot participate in practical life activities without having mastered yourself and expect to be successful. All right, but at the same time, you cannot work on mastering yourself too soon. So that's one of the reasons why I put the master self-control model in the middle. So it's the fourth model of seven. And so there are certain things you need to learn about yourself before you can start even having a discussion about mastering self-control, mastering yourself. So certain things you need to learn about yourself before you can start to master yourself. Get it? So one more time. So there's certain things you need to learn about yourself before you can start to master yourself. So we've been through the life experience platform model. We've been through the relevant model. We've been through the awareness model. Now you have a better idea of why you behave the way you behave today in just about any and every circumstance. Nothing else you get out of this. You'll leave here today taking a closer look at everything that you experience in every day throughout the course of the day. Watch how it happens. It's amazing. And what it is just the difference is knowledge. Now you have a system in which to apply. Get it? So once you know that you have a system to apply, it'll just start happening by default. It's like I know exactly what to do with it. I know exactly what to do with it. Just like learn how to drive, right? You didn't know how to drive until you developed a system for driving. Right? You had to learn a system. Sister Betty says she still don't have a system. You better move out of the way. That's her system. Her system is move out of the way, if I was you. So, yes, man. Okay, so the master self-control model, as I said earlier, I believe it includes three different levels. We're not on the same level. You know, we all handle things differently. You know, I'm not an expert at transportation, but Brother Chico is. You know, I will handle managing transportation and transporting patients and dealing with all that medication and that mood swings and that cussing me out a whole lot differently than he will. You hear me? I will be level one. Oh, you say you want to fight? Oh, you can get out the next trial. If you don't get out, I'm going to kick you out. So anyway, he's mature level self-control in the life of transportation. All right, so you get my point, right? We experience things differently. So, but what we want to do with this model, the intent and purpose here, we're going to talk about that. The intent and purpose is to get you to a place to where you mastered yourself on mature level self-control no matter what the circumstance is. Doesn't matter if you have expertise in that area. So instead of getting upset with somebody and angry at them because you don't know something, and you're just trying to get them out, diffuse them and get rid of them, you can take this approach. I never heard that before about having to deal with people and their medication and them to transport them, and you got to do what you got to take them to go get their oxygen and kidney treatment, and like I've never thought about that. You know, medical patients. And help me understand how that works. Give me an example of like a couple of different situations. And so now, what I've done, I've flipped it into a learning situation, so I can learn how to be mature in that area. You get it? And now, see, you taking that time and you're putting those thoughts on the platform I was talking with you about. Putting those thoughts on the platform, and you're deciding what the pro is going to be and what the con is going to be. You can say, okay, well, I've always been interested, using Brother Chico's story, I've always been interested in what it takes to take care of a sick person. You know, they have to take their medication, they have to be at these certain appointments that may not necessarily be at the local hospital or clinic. Nobody can come to their home, and so somebody have to come and pick them up and take them to the appointments. So now I'm learning, I started to become an expert in that area as well. And so I become not necessarily going to be a transporter, but at least I have that knowledge in that area, and I get to better understand what my brother's going through when somebody cusses them out because their medication has got them feeling crazy, you know, and that's a real deal. You know, that stuff happens, right? So, you know, and he has to exercise mature level self-control. Otherwise, you're gonna get cussed out again, time and time again. and you know, life is strange. It's like sometimes, once you learn something and you understand something, you have to deal with it less. You know what I'm saying? Isn't that amazing? When you become ignorant of stuff, different things, that's when you seem to act up about it the most. You know, I think it's part of it is just that posterior part of just being afraid of not knowing. And oftentimes, we may not necessarily be humble enough to tell a person, I don't understand that. You know, lady, can you explain that to me? I want to understand. I want to understand it. Most of the time, we just get upset and walk away, or just, you know, just kind of listen. Don't even understand what the person said. You know, so that's part of that process, and learning to master ourselves by dealing with things on a mature level at all times. And so that's what we're trying to get to. So mastering self-control is survival level self-control, which is a step, and then functional level self-control, which is a step, and mature level self-control, which is a level. So you got a step, and a level. So this level, mature level self-control, level 3, is where you want to stay at all times. And listen, I say this all the time to everybody I talk with. There's no moment more important than this moment right here, right now. Even if that means you gotta be late to work sometimes, because you got to get this down right here. Otherwise, it's going to play you for the next 10 years. No, we had those situations where you really had to be somewhere. At least you thought you did. You really had to be somewhere. But there's something that was really more important, even than getting to work on time, that you need to deal with right now. You know, like if we may have an issue with a spouse or one of the kids right there at the house. There's something you got to deal with right now. Okay? You can't say I deal with this when I get home. This is not one of those situations. You don't have that time. You got to deal with it right now. You understand what I'm saying? You don't have that time in it. You don't have that time. So you get it. So those are things that we gotta earnest to understand. We gotta stop. We gotta just stop and take control of our thoughts. Cast that, so that we have an opportunity to cast down the imagination. So in our vernacular, God is saying to us, okay, you can't cast down the imagination until you first have a thought. You got to have a thought first. It's the thought that turns into imagination. You can't have an imagination before the thought. The thought comes first. And then the thought turns into what? An imagination. Every thought turns into an imagination, be it good, bad, or indifferent. That thought is the hysteria, area of hysteria. Have the thought, cast down whatever imagination that is not good, that is not healthy, that is negative, that is counterproductive, redacted, and it's going to put you in a very bad, destructive place. It is calamity, okay? And I'm still, for example, I have to manage and deal with things that I created for myself when I was 17, 18 years old. You know, as I told you all, when I was 8, by the time I was 20 years old, I had 2 children out of the way. Those children were not raised in my house. And there's a major difference between the children that were raised in my house and that weren't raised in my house. I still deal with my 2 older children that I told you all about. They're totally different set of situations, I said, okay, than the ones who were in. It's like night and day. Okay, the children that were raised in my house, it's not a matter of managing; they manage themselves. And the children that are older, the 2 children that are older, they still have to be managed in their 30s as it relates to this relationship. All right. So, what I'm saying to you is that you can make a decision that's not well thought out, maybe because you're not mature enough. It's always because you're not mature enough. That can cause you years, if not decades, of trouble. And it touches you in every area of your life. I call it term. Time, energy, resources, and money. We'll talk about that term. T-E-R-M. Time, energy, resources, and money. And one of the things about problems, they're going to hit you in all 4 areas. Don't worry about it. They're gonna hit you in all 4 areas. You got a problem, it's gonna hit you in all 4 areas. Your time, it's gonna cost you time. It's gonna cost you a whole lot of energy. And it's gonna cost you resources that you didn't think about, that now you have to bring into play, you know, and it's gonna cost you money. It is hell on earth. Okay, we're going to talk about those, and we're going to talk about how not to get into those areas when we get to the My Guard model. But for now, we'll stop here in terms of the master self-control model, survival level, functional level, mature level. When we come back, we're going to talk about the CLEAT model, which is very exciting, and you're going to see why you're not ready for the CLEAT model until you master self-control. And we'll be back soon.